Have you ever wanted to know what's going on with your trees in Factory Town Tycoon? Have you ever been curious to know how long they really take to grow and how much wood you're really going to get over an hour? Well, I have the solution for you. I've done some comprehensive tests on how every single tree in the game grows and what you can expect with all your different levels of your garden beds. So, first to start off, we're just going to be looking at our completely raw garden beds. But first, I'm going to introduce you guys to all the trees. We have our palm tree. She's lovely. She gives you 5 wood and grows super quick. Then we got our pine tree. You got 8 wood from her, and she grows about medium. And then we got our oak. Ooh, bit too far. Got our oak. She's going to give you 12 wood per tree. Then we got our cotton right here. You're going to get 12 cotton right out of this plant. And you got your dye petals, and you're also going to get 12 dye right out of there. So, now, I'm going to bore you guys with a spreadsheet real quick. Hope you don't mind too much. All right. We're going to zoom in. Oop, wrong way. There we go. All right. So, this section right here is us focusing on just our pure rates of our plants. So, you'll see I have oak, palm, pine, and cotton. I don't have any dye, but that's due to our dye being virtually the same as our cotton. You also see this arrow right here. That's just because of a mistake I made during my testing, but it's fine. It was our shorter run test, so it is not really representative of the true value. You'll have something to compare it to for your short runs. But first off, I'm just going to give you guys a quick overview. We had our pine with our lowest seconds per log, so how long you have to wait for a single bed to give you a log, which is on average about 70 seconds over 8 hours and about 72 seconds over an hour. Reason that is because I start my test with all my trees completely grown, so the harvester is going to have a bit of extra wood at the start, and that's due to whenever you log on, your trees actually grow overnight. So you'll be able to log on and you'll typically have fresh trees. So if you normally only play for about an hour, you're going to want to pay attention to this 1 hour rate more than your overnight rate. But if you play for longer than an hour, the overnight rate is going to be a bit more representative of what you'll experience. Then again, the difference between 72 and 75 isn't all too much. All right, so we got our pine with our best seconds per log at 75, and it took each tree about 376 seconds to grow. Then we had our oak with our second best time per log at 88, and each tree took 1,063 seconds to grow. Then, in last place was pine, and you'll see that took 94 seconds, and each tree was 757, not 75 seconds to grow. All right. And you can see right here how much each made over an hour, and then how much each made. This is how much each made over an hour, and this is how much each made over about that many seconds, which is about 8 hours. All right, and now I'm gonna switch us back to some Roblox real quick. So next, we're gonna go on to our garden bed, moving on from our basic garden bed. So with our garden bed, we unlock a new thing called compost. In order to make compost, what you gotta do is you gotta harvest your logs, feed them into a shredder over here, and make some biomass. Once you make your biomass, you put it into a composter right here, and that's gonna give you some compost. Each tree you have is gonna consume 4 compost and or 4 water, but we'll get to that a bit later. Because each tree has 4 different growth stages, and at each growth stage, it consumes a single compost. You'll see that by some brown sparkles glowing in the garden bed. All right, going back to our spreadsheet. Hope you guys have fun with that. And we are gonna move off to the side. All right, so with our compost, we got it right here. Notes a lot. I'm gonna try and break it down for you guys, okay? So here is our seeds generated because a cool fact, if your tree has been composted for more than 50% of its growth cycles, it is going to make seeds for you. It has a chance of, it will give you between 1 and 2 seeds for every tree you make. So right here you'll see the seeds you made, and then you'll see the vlogs that got made. All right, so first we have our seconds per vlog right here, and once again, Palm's coming in best at about a vlog every 40 seconds. Oak's a bit slower at about a vlog every 45. And Pine is in last with a vlog about 50 seconds. And then Cotton is actually lagging pretty far behind because it has 25 in each stack. So that's quite a while for a big stack, for a full stack. But it's at 20 for a single cotton. So 1 out of 25 cotton. Then for our trees, we've got Cotton. Actually, no, Palm's coming in first with about 200 seconds per tree. Then we got Cotton with about 240. Then we got Pine with about 400. And then we got Oak with about 560. Then we got a cool new section that I've just started making. This is our seed section. So if you look down here, you'll see our net seeds. So you need seeds to replant the trees that you just grew, but you'll also be making seeds too because it's a chance for 1 to 2 seeds to grow. So you can expect from 1 garden bed to get a seed for your cotton once every 484 seconds, 1 for your palm once every 400 seconds, 1 for your pine once every 800, and 1 for your oak once every 1,200. Next, we're going to go onto our compost ratios. So when you are using a traditional tree, it's going to take about 0.66 logs to make all the compost you need for a single tree. And that's going to impact them disproportionately if you look at these numbers right here. So you'll see that with compost, pine's not going to be affected too much compared to palm, which is, because palm is losing almost 15% of its wood, whereas pine is only losing about 10%, and oak's only losing about 5% of its wood. So this is going to hurt palm the most, but still is able to pull out ahead once you adjust it for our compost, for making its own compost. Now, if you're super, super rich and you're buying your own compost, don't gotta worry about this, but you can get even richer if you make your own. So, if you look, you'll have our seconds per log. Once we adjust that for our cotton, we're at 30 seconds for every log. Pretty big jump from 20. Then for our pine, we go up to about 54. Big jump of 5 from 49. Then for our palm, we go to 45 up from 39. Kind of huge jump. And then from our oak, we only go up about 2.5 from 46 to 49. Then if you look right here, we have our max fuel per hour. This is the amount of fuel you can expect to get for an hour from 1 garden bed. So that is converting all your logs into charcoal and making that all in an hour. So for our pine, you can expect about 766 fuel per pine garden bed an hour. For our palm, you can expect about 900 fuel. And our oak, you can expect about 830. Now, note, I would always play it safe and give yourself maybe like a 2 to 3% margin of error on these numbers. So like play it safe and like aim for like to use 870 fuel per hour for each palm. Just to make sure you're on like the good side of the margins that may be there. All right. Then we have one last section right here, but I'm going to jump back to Roblox real quick. All right. Now for our last section, this is new with the brand new update. We got ourselves canned water. So for canned water, we have this new lovely building called our ground pump. And to use it, we need 6 fuel, 2 drill heads, and 6 tin cans. In order to make some tin cans, it's now the blacksmith, and we need 3 tin ingots, or 1.5 tin ingots for every water we make. Just like that. So, 3 tin ingots per 50 water. Then, you just gotta make it in our smelter, and you just smelt it with our tin ore. Now, what this does is it actually doubles the amount of wood each tree produces. Whereas compost just speeds up how much it grows, this doubles it. This doubles the amount of wood each tree has. So we have our palm tree, which goes from 5 to 10, our pine, which goes from 8 to 16, and then our oak, which goes from 12 to 24, as well as our cotton and our dye, which go from 12 to 24. So these guys get a huge boost, probably the most impactful for them. Now going back to the spreadsheet. All right, so we have our water ratio, which, no, I'm yelling at you if you try to use your cotton here. Not a good idea at all, all right? So for our cotton, I ended up using our oak ratio because that's the best one, and I just wanted to give it a good chance. But you'll see we go from 30 to 10 seconds per bit of cotton, which is huge. All right. Then for our oak, we go from about 50 almost down to 24. Our palm, we go from 45 down to 22. Our pine, we go from 53 down to 26. And the amount of fuel we get every hour jumps up like crazy too. Pine's going from 760 to 1560. Palm is going from 900 to almost even more than that, even more than double. But I again, play it safe. I would say only go for like 1800 fuel per hour if you're cutting it close. And for our oak, we go up to 1700. So, once again, oak isn't horribly far off, but pine is going to be better in almost every circumstance. Unless maybe you're buying seeds, and pine's going to be more expensive per log. But, you know, pine's going to be better in almost every case. But I hope you guys had fun watching. If you guys have any questions about anything tree related in Factory and Tycoon, feel free to ask. And happy chopping. Bye bye.